Hey everyone, it's Jeff back here for a quick excerpt of the Jerry Lawler Show. This, and by the way, happy belated birthday to Mr. Ken Patera, who's still sticking with that story that young kid threw that 30-pound rock through that McDonald's window. A different comedic side of Ken Patera on Tales from the Territories. Pretty cool episode about the AWA. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. Vice producing the best pro wrestling TV there is. And today, speaking of one of the world's strongest men, we're going to take a look back. This is kind of a kayfabed interview with Ken Patera. Jerry the King Lawler acknowledging the accolades of one of the world's strongest men at the time. And keep in mind, at this time, right around in the 70s and 80s, there weren't too many human beings like Ken Patera like there are now. There are a dime a dozen today with strongmen, power lifters, all kinds of elite athletes that can lift and do crazy things. But Ken Patera was a one-off. I remember wanting to go see Ken Patera because he had been on network TV. So, well, rather than keep talking about it, here's Jerry the King Lawler with a bad guy interview with Ken Patera.
We're going to visit today with a gentleman via closed circuit that I know very well. Maybe too well, at least inside the ring. Here's Mr. Ken Patera. You're without a doubt the strongest man that I've ever wrestled. You won gold medals in the Pan Am Games. You represented the United States in the Olympics. You won network competition of the world's strongest man. With all of these physical attributes and the skills and abilities that you possess, why do you resort to the wrestling tactics that you use, and why associate with a jerk like Jimmy Hart?
Well, to answer your first question, why do I resort to the tactics that I do? Well, because they're winning tactics. Whatever I can do to win a match, I'm going to win it, and I always win the match. And to answer your other question, don't you ever refer to Jimmy Hart as a jerk or any other derogatory name from now on if you want to continue talking to me. Jimmy Hart's a very well-read person. He's a very dear friend of mine. And the reason I associate myself with Jimmy Hart, because he's also a winner. Everybody that's associated with the Jimmy Hart family are winners. And that's why I associate with Jimmy Hart.
Well, that doesn't really answer the question of the fact that with a guy that has the strength that you have, I would think that you could win 90% of your matches just by out-muscling your opponent. Why blatantly break the rules? And I don't think you need a guy like Jimmy Hart in your corner. Well, it's like a crutch. What do you have him there for?
No, it's not a crutch. Jimmy Hart is a very dear friend of mine, as I said before. And of course I could win 90% of my matches, but I want to win 100% of my matches. And I don't only want to win them. I want to win them by hurting people and put them in a little agony, as I have you, Austin Idol, a few other people around. When they get out of the ring after wrestling Ken Patera, they know that they haven't only been in a wrestling match, that they've been in a brawl, a street fight. And that's why I pull all the rules out. I throw them all out the window, because Ken Patera has always been a winner. Like you said, I won 4 gold medals in the Pan American Games, represented the United States in Olympic Games. And I'm going to continue on being a winner. As everybody can see what's on my T-shirt, Sports Palace, San Francisco, California. That's where the Olympic weightlifting coach Jim Schmitz resides, and that's where I go to do most of my heavy training. And to keep the level of strength that I always maintain, I have to train diligently and under proper supervision. And that's why I am the #1 athlete in the world today, because, like everybody knows, the king of sports is wrestling. I'm the international champion. I've held almost every belt there is. And every time I get in the ring, I strive for perfection, and that's #1. Whether it takes to break a few rules, I'll break a few rules. And talk about somebody that breaks a few rules, just consider your own tactics, Jerry Lawler. You're not perfect by any means.
Well, you talk about, you may be the international champion, but I think that's only in your own mind. You know, I think you're not necessarily recognized as the international champion.
Like I say, if I say what I say, it's true. You can bank on it. You can take it to the bank. If I say I'm the world champion, you take it to the bank. If I'm the international champion, the tag team champion, whatever I say is the gospel. And you can bank on it. You can take it to the bank. It's good.
Yeah, well, okay. You've successfully been very good at avoiding my original question. So anyway, I guess we'll have to thank you for being on the Jerry Lawler.
Well, the only reason you had me on the show, and the only reason I agreed to be on your show, is to up the ratings anyway, because I heard that the ratings were so poor that you couldn't get anybody to watch your program. But once they hear that Ken Patera is going to be on the Jerry Lawler Show, your ratings are going to skyrocket.
Okay, well, thanks for coming by and helping out our ratings. Maybe we can substantially make our own ratings without Ken Patera in the future. Let's go on to something a little more pleasant right now.